Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to take a face that I drew and painted in one of my face journals and copy her and put her into my mixed media art journal and then build a 2-page spread around her. So I hope you enjoy. So here I've started by laying out just a whole bunch of different background papers, book pages, old dress pattern papers, and the cutout of my face. And I'm just going to start creating a background by gluing all of these papers down to my pages with matte medium, fluid matte medium. Once all the papers are glued down, I just want to make sure everything is dried off really well before going on to the next step. So I just want to get some color on this page now, so I took fluid acrylic and a credit card, and I'm just scraping the paint down the page to get some color on there. And you'll notice as it goes across the different papers underneath, I get a variation in the shade depending on the color of the papers. And I'll just continue until the page is covered. Then I just took a baby wipe to spread the paint all the way out to the edges of the paper or to the page to cover up any white areas that are remaining and blend it all in. At first I thought maybe I would just carry the paint that was left on the baby wipe across the page with the face on it, but it was just a little too pale, so I decided, okay, I'll put some more paint on the baby wipe and then I'll just dab the color onto the page to deepen it up a little bit. So I took my cue from putting that Phthalo Turquoise over some of those more yellowish papers on the left side, and it turned into a little bit of a green tone. So I grabbed some green gold fluid acrylic and added some drips and then spread it across the page to kind of complement that green that was coming in on the left hand side. So I want to provide some contrast now. So I'm taking fluid acrylic in Titan Buff, and I'm just going to pick it up on the edge of my credit card and just swipe it up and down in different spots across the pages to lighten some of these areas up a bit. just using my finger to put just a thinner layer here and there across the pages, and then take a baby wipe and just knock all of it back just a little bit to let those papers show through more. I'm going to add some text on the top of the paint layer, just using a text stamp and some black Archival acrylic ink. I just want some contrast against that Titan buff and the lighter green areas, so I'm just going to stamp randomly here and there. So now I want to put an overall pattern on these pages, and this Joggles stencil is perfect for this. It will allow what I have on the page right now to become the background, and then the leaf pattern will become the foreground. So I'm just trying to decide what color I want to use now. So I saw a James Burke YouTube video a while back, and he was recommending these acrylic paints from Target, and they are wonderful. They come in a great variety of colors. They're just super creamy and easy to use. So I grabbed the jar called Avocado, and I'm just going to apply it through the stencil using a makeup sponge. On this side, I did bring some of the leaves onto the edges of her face. Now she needs some hair and some contrast around her face. So I'm using a Graphitone dark wash graphite, water-soluble graphite pencil to sketch in her hair, the outline of her hair, and then I'll bring it across her forehead and down the side of her face. And then I'm going to use some shading gray fluid acrylic paint to shade outside the hair area and also to activate the water-soluble graphite. I like the way the shading gray, it's quite transparent, so you still can see the layers underneath the color, but yet it provides just a really nice contrast so that the stencil pattern becomes the pattern of her hair, and the rest is just kind of blocked out. I believe this is called negative painting. Next, I took the graphite pencil again, and I'm just drawing strokes through the area of her hair to try to give the illusion of, more of an illusion of hair as opposed to just an open area of stenciled pattern. And then I activated the water-soluble graphite just with water on a paintbrush. I did add more of the green gold color of the fluid acrylic through her hair to just kind of blend it in across her forehead. And I have these 1940s German paper scraps. It's just a whole sheet of different flowers, and so I thought I would add those to her hair right at the hairline there on the left side of her forehead. So I'm just pulling out the yellow ones and deciding where I want to put them, and I will also put just a thin layer of that green gold across these flowers to blend them in better with the colors of the page, and then glue them down with the fluid matte acrylic, or the fluid matte medium, sorry. So I want to add some of that turquoise color back around her face. It just seems like a little too much of a color shift between the shading gray on one side and the phthalo turquoise on the other. So I just watered down some phthalo turquoise, and I'm just going to add it over top of the shading gray around her hair. Now I'm using my Stabilo All pencil in black to add an additional shadow around the outside of her hair, her face, and the flowers. I'm just putting it on and then using my finger to smudge it and create the shadow. Now with the white Posca pen, I'm adding some white highlights to her eyes and her lips just to make those pop a little bit more and give a little more realism. Now with a medium nib Pitt pen in black, I'm just going to outline all of the leaves and stems and make some little doodle marks on those just to get them to pop off the page more. When I selected the book papers that I wanted to add as the first layer, I noticed some words that I wanted to save and use at the end. So one paper says "the look" and the other says "just what I wanted." So I'm adding those here at the end. Now I'm using my Stabilo All pencil again to go around the edges of the pages, just to give them a little more of a finished look. So I'm just dragging my pencil around the edges and then smearing it with my finger. And she's done. I hope you enjoyed watching the process of me building these pages. I hope you'll give it a try too. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone else who you think might like it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, go make some art. Bye.